Welcome back to another episode of the Account for Life podcast. Jay, a healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about what big numbers are made of. Had a conversation with a friend of mine over the weekend, and we immediately used a technique that I believe anybody can use when it comes to looking at numbers and how you can turn big numbers into little numbers. Guys, I just had my 35th high school reunion over the weekend. And wow, it's been 35 years. And this lesson that me and my friend, one of our best friends, used while we was in one of the services, I believe is transformative for just about anyone who's looking to excel, go to the next level at whatever you choose. So let's jump right in this. Look, 35 years is no spring kitchen. Like, that's a long time to be out of high school. Hey guys, we were just 18 a few years ago. And we were sitting in a program, it's alumni weekend at my alma mater, Pine Forge Academy, and a couple of classes came up and they gave some checks. They always encourage, giving back. Now, what's interesting is, I'm not going to get into that part, but they always encourage giving back. And as a collective, like as a class, I think my class maybe about 70 people. As a collective, we didn't really collectively really come together to really give back as much as we could have, right? And so we're sitting there, we raised a little bit of money, but not much, not that much considering what we probably could have done if we would have thought about it in the correct way. Over the past several months, I know they had some class meetings. They were talking about giving and they were talking about this and that. And I just remember it feeling hard, not to me, but for the people that may have been talking about it. So we were watching a couple of the classes, give some checks. One was $25,000, one was $32,000+. And I sat there and I looked at my friend Mike and I said, hey, I think we can do 100,000 next time in 5 years. So Mike looks at me and he says, 100,000. He says, man, you're stretching me here. I said, that's doable. See, when we look at a big number, think about this. When you look at a big number, say you start a business, most people start a business and then they say, I'm going to make $10,000 a month. When in essence, why wouldn't you just say I'm going to make $100,000 a month? Why wouldn't you say I'm going to make $1 million my first year? I'm not saying that you would, but why wouldn't you just say, you know what, that's what I want? And then I learned this technique from Mr. Grant Cardone. He says, when you do the math, you can achieve it. When you do the math, if you don't do the math, then you'll be sitting there and the numbers will look big and they really are made up of these tiny numbers. Grant says, do the math. How many ways can you split it up? If you sold, something for $500, 500 is going to get you 200 people. Oh my goodness, that's not that many people. That's not that, or 2,000. That's 200. But here's the thing: it's like, wow, that's not that much. You can do it. So we were sitting and we said 100,000, and then Mike quickly did the math. He started breaking it down. He says, if we did this over, a monthly thing over the next 5 years, we could easily save for our alma mater $100,000. But see, here's what happened. Look, I share the idea, right? So when you got big numbers, you share it with somebody that you love, somebody that would sit there and say, yes, this is good. See, one of the mistakes that many people do is they share those ideas with the wrong people. I shared it with someone who we sit on the same level and we have similar mindsets. Even though he said I was stretching him, but he stretched himself right there and says, let's go. And immediately it turned into a movement and a cause. I didn't realize that's what was going to happen. Next thing you know, he did the math. Next thing you know, we're in front of the class talking about our mission and what we can do. And immediately people came on board. But then it went a step further. See, guys, when you have big numbers, here's what can happen. other people can see themselves inside the numbers that you created. That's kind of like similar to like if you have a dream, your dream has to be big enough for other dreams, because if it's too small, then people may not necessarily want to be involved with what you're doing. So Mike saw and says, this is good. We included others, and then something magical happened. My friend Jason says, whoa, we could probably do this as well. We can probably do this as well. I'm getting home from driving from alumni weekend, and I'm getting a text message from Jason. He's like, well, look, this is what we can do, and this is what we can do, and this is what we do. We could probably do this in a year. We went from 5 years to now we could probably do it in a year. I think it was like 53 people, $1,923 each. In 1 year, we would have $100,000. And I said, wow, that is interesting that it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to get to your goal when you look at the big numbers and you break them down into smaller numbers. See, one of the biggest mistake, another mistake that, small entrepreneurs, and even sometimes big ones, but definitely small entrepreneurs make when it comes to their money, is they're looking at it from a me instead of a we. They're looking at it from a me. They're saying, well, this is what me, this is what I. And if they said, this is what we can, then what happens is when you use the word we, when you use the word us, people can hear you. People say, well, he's talking to me. He's talking to me because he says we. So that means I'm included. It's no number attached to we. It's just we. So if I'm talking to one person, then it's like, well, me and them. If I'm talking to 10 people, it's all 10 of them. If I'm talking to 100 people, it's all of them. If I'm talking to 1,000 people and I say we, everybody can see themselves inside of we. What's interesting about we and me is that we've all been taught that it's about me. We've been taught that. The reason I know we've been taught that is because I went to the same types of schools you went to. I went to an elementary school and a middle school. I went to a high school and a college. And in there, it was about my grades. Just mine. Don't cheat. You can't ask for help when you're, taking a test. You can't go and look at your friend's paper doing the test because it's all about me. It's my grade. It's not our grade. We don't go to school and say, let's all pass by working together. No, we don't do that. That's not even possible. So because we've been indoctrinated to focus on me, it becomes a challenge to work as we. Huge challenge. All right. What can we take away today from big numbers and how they're made up of small ones? If we incorporate the word we into our collective idea, into an idea that we have, this is what I said inside of this program. I says, we, to my friend, we can do $100,000. Even though I know that I can probably do a little bit more, which I took my books. I had my books there. I probably sold about 30 copies of books. Everybody's not readers, right? 30 copies of books. I think I generated about $500. I said, you know what? I'm going to take my proceeds. I'm going to go ahead and put that into the pot as well. So what happens is, I know I can do something, but I can't do it by myself. So when I said we should do this, all of a sudden the numbers went from 100,000 down to, hey, just a couple $1,000 that all I would have to come up with. Because if this person, all of a sudden we meet our goal. But what if we accelerate and say, you know what, our 40th, this is supposed to be over a 5-year period. So you think we're supposed to raise $100,000 in 5 years. Then Jason comes in. He says, no. We can probably do that in 1 year. So that means possibly in 5 years, we can do $500,000. See, when we take these big numbers and we say to ourselves, those aren't big numbers. That's only $100,000. That's only $500,000. That's only $1,000. That's only $5,000. That's only $25,000. That's only. One of my mentors says, when you attach the word only to the number, what happens is in your body, in your mind, all of a sudden it starts saying, oh, it's not that much. It's just a little bit. So that means that I could have more. I could do more. So I don't have to sit back and say, well, $1 million is a lot of money. It's not a lot of money because no one would know I'd have it anyway. A $10 million is not even a lot of money. That's only $10 million. That's only $100 million. That's only $50 million. That's only $5 million. See, we've been indoctrinated to think that $100,000 is a lot of money. We've been indoctrinated to think that if I only made $100,000, if I made $100,000 this year, I would be so much better off, when technically you wouldn't be. You would be right where you are. You would have this $100,000 realizing that that was the wrong goal to go after. So what do we do about these big numbers? What do we do? This is what we do. We do exactly what I did in the program. I saw a number and it says, we can do this. We can do that. If we do it, I think we can reach a much bigger goal, a much bigger objective than we ever thought we could. It's a we game, not a me game. So today, as we are in a new month of September, fall is on the way. But look, what if we collectively can generate $10 million? We, me, you, her, him, those, us. What if we did that in a short amount of time? Say 1 year, say 4 months, say 6 months, say 1 month, say 3 months. Who knows? But what if we did it collectively? If we did it, we would all be even more empowered to include more people and to continue making the numbers smaller and smaller and smaller so that we collectively get to where we would like to go. So hopefully you got value from this program today. What big numbers are made of? They are made of a lot of small numbers. And if we embrace this only concept and include we in our idea, in us, in our thinking, I believe that we can change the trajectory of our finances, of our families, of our relationships, of everything in our lives. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. This is James Winter, Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for your life. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.